Welcome to Plutus IAS. Myself Vikas Gupta. I'm a faculty here for economics, polity, and PSIR. So we have brought a new product, that is PT Marathon, to help the student who are trying to attempt to the film understand the art of cracking film. Again, we are not trying to give you knowledge that you get from classroom programs. This is a special initiative to make you understand how to tackle the questions in prelims. You have the knowledge from a classroom program, and then you have to use that knowledge to crack the prelims. That's why I always say there is a difference between a knowledgeable person and a person equipped with knowledge to use. Just because you are knowledgeable, it does not mean that you can use that knowledge, and that's the art we are trying to, the art of using your knowledge to clear the prelim. Whatever I will tell you, particularly for economics, will be helpful for you to understand that. But a cautionary warning: whatever we will tell you here is not a gospel truth. These are some guidance tool. You have to cherry pick the tool that you find useful. They are not gospel truth that whatever we are saying is the ultimate truth. Nobody knows ultimate truth in this. Okay, if anyone is claiming, they are either lying or they are befooling you. Keep that in mind. Understand the art of dealing with things. Pick the points. Use your own strategy. Upend that strategy with our points, and you would be ready for. That's what we have. So with that note, let us start some previous year questions. The question number 1 is the money multiplier in the economy. The money multiplier in an economy increases with which one of the following? So money multiplier simply means if more money with the bank, more money with bank means more the mm. Simply stating, more money means more mm, because more money with the bank means more they can lend to the people, and simply the mm will increase. There is formula in NCERT and all, not important. I have always said it is not important. Learn the concept and try to apply them. That's it. So let's see. First is increase in CRR, that is cash reserve ratio. If you increase CRR or the cash reserve ratio is the amount of cash that the bank keep with RBI. It's simply with CRR increasing, the money available to lend will decrease. So obviously baat hai, MM will decrease. First statement is wrong. Second statement, increase in the SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio. It is the amount of the fund that the banks keep aside for safe deposit kind of thing. They may be used in some exigencies. So obviously baat hai, it will decrease the money available. So obviously baat hai, MM will decline. So this is also wrong. Now other statement, increasing in banking habit of the people, means more and more people go to the bank to take loan. So of course MM will increase. So it appears a right statement, but we will wait and read the next statement, then we will conclude. Next is increase in the population of the country. It also appears a right statement. Why? Because it's obvious. For example, there are 80 people in the country and 40 people are doing the banking. Now the population increased to 120, and of course it may go to 50. So it appears that there is increase in people trying to get the loan, MM will increase, but there is no certainty. जरूरी नहीं है, it is not certain that if population increase from 80 to 120, then this will increase to 40 to 50. कोई guarantee नहीं. Maybe all the people who are born next, they are not in banking system. So both statement could be right. When you find a question which UPSC always try to play with you, that there are more than one answer which appear right, in that scenario you have to select the rightest one among all the right answer, which is the more right. So it appears this statement is also right, because with increase in population there are chances that the banking may increase, but this is not certain. It is maybe wala concept, but this is certain that if banking habit of the people increase, then of course MM will increase. So both may be right, but absolutely only C is right. So we will put cross to D. D becomes your answer. Keep this in mind. The first rule that we have arrived here is, if there are more than one answer which appear right, then you will select the rightest of all. Clear? Let's come to the next question then. With reference to Indian economy, demand pull inflation. With reference to Indian economy, demand pull inflation can be caused less increased by which of the following? Okay, demand pull. Simply we understand inflation means when demand is much more than supply. Simply stating, when demand is much more than supply, it's simply inflation. That we know. So demand pull mane when demand increase, and we know demand increase when people have more money income or money left with them. More income they have, more money left with them, then demand will increase, then of course demand pull inflation. This is the basics. Now let's see the statement. Expansionary policies. Expansionary policies mean the central bank will give more money to the bank to lend. The central bank has given more money to the bank to lend. It simply means the bank have more money to lend. Means the money available with the people will increase, the inflation will surely increase. So this is a right statement. Next is fiscal stimulus. Fiscal stimulus means when the government itself spend a lot. And of course, if government will spend a lot, means demand will increase in the market. It means inflation will increase. Right statement. Inflation index wages. Inflation index wages का मतलब होता है when your wages are linked to inflation. मान लेते हैं inflation, that indicator we are using CPI is 6% and your wages is 100 rupees, but it is inflation linked. So this month you will get 100 rupees because 6% inflation is there. Next month you will get 106 rupees. Your salary will increase. Your basic salary is still 100, but because it is linked to inflation, with the change of inflation your salary will increase or decrease, whatever may be the case. Having said that, so it may or may be true, may or may be, not definitely, may or may be. We will see that later. Next, higher purchasing power. Common sense. Purchasing power का मतलब more money left with you. More the money you have, more the purchasing power, more the demand, more the inflation. So this statement is also absolutely correct. So next is, so let's see options, then we will look at the last statement. Any statement that includes 1, 2 and 4 for now. 1, 2 and 4. So this is here and this is here. So these two statements are gone now. Now with this we arrive at the second rule of prelims, that is stage wise answering. In first stage you will go through all the 100 questions and will mark the answer which you know for sure. You will mark that right at that time. Once you mark them, go to the answer sheet and see how many questions you have marked. If you have marked at least 40 to 50% of the entire questions, so you are in a safe zone now, because this is the marks that nobody can snatch away from you. You have this marks for sure with you. Now the second stage may you will go to the question in which you have been able to eliminate at least 2 options. Stage 2 may you will look at the questions where you could eliminate at least 2 options. Here you can take calculated risk. Here you can take calculated risk. Let's try that calculated risk here. So we know for sure first 2 and 4th is correct. Third पे maybe फिर देख लेते हैं राइजिंग इंटरेस्ट रेट. अब इट इज नॉट क्लियर व्हाट इंटरेस्ट रेट राइजिंग ठीक है, बट व्हाट, सेविंग्स, लोन्स, बॉन्ड, शेयर, किस चीज की बात हो रही है, व्हाट इंटरेस्ट रेट अबाउट व्हाट थिंग. So it is not very clear that rising interest rate में they are talking about central bank raising the interest rate or banks are giving more revenue, more interest on savings, या government is giving more interest on saving. It is not very clear about what it is being saying, what this statement is about. One thing I can say, because it is ambivalent statement, it is wrong. So any answer that have 1, 2 and 4 but does not have 5th, so this is the right answer. I hope it's clear now. Next देखते हैं. With reference to India, consider the following statement. Retail investors to demat account. Demat account means dematerialization. This is used in share market basically. So demat account can invest treasury bill. These are issued by the governments and government of India debt bonds in primary market. So this statement we know for fact is right. तो मान लेते हैं for 1 second we assume कि आपको नहीं पता. चलो ठीक है, नहीं पता. अगला है द नेगोशिएटेड डीलिंग सिस्टम ऑर्डरिंग मैचिंग इज अ गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी ट्रेडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ आरबीआई. अब दिस इज समथिंग फैक्चुअल. This is a statement which is factual. Either you know this statement or you don't know this. There is no guesswork here. यहाँ पे ब्लाइंड गेम नहीं हो सकता. तो या तो आपको पता है स्टेटमेंट या नहीं पता है. फॉर फैक्ट वी नो इट्स अ ट्रू स्टेटमेंट, बट ईदर यू नो दिस और डू नॉट नो दिस. तो ऐसे क्वेश्चन जब आपके फंस जाए where either you know the answer or you do not know the answer, there may not be a guesswork involved. In that scenario you have to do one thing, that is keep it in stage 3. Attempting stage, I told you, first stage mein you will mark the question you know for sure. Second stage mein you will mark the question in which you could eliminate at least 2 options. There you can take calculated risk. Stage 3 is dead stage. You will attempt this stage only when you are unable to do at least 70% of the question. After stage 2, if you have done 70% of the question, I would suggest do not take too much risk, because we do not know the cutoff. It depends upon paper to paper whether paper is tough, easy. Every year cutoff vary, not largely, but thoda bahut variation aata hai. So if you have been able to mark at least 70% of the question after stage 2, then you are in a safe zone. Go to stage 3 only and only if you are less than 70, and there are chances that things may go wrong, because when you have taken calculated risk, calculated risk mein you may have marked 1 or 2 question wrong. There are high chances there. So in that stage 3 comes, but I would suggest do not attempt stage 3. Do not go for blind guessing. Okay, so this is that kind of question. Either you know the answer or you do not know the answer. There is no much guesswork available. So ये तो हमें पता है for a fact. This is a right statement. Next is the Central Depository Services Limited is a jointly promoted by RBI and the Bombay Stock Exchange. Again a factual statement. Either you know this statement or you do not know this statement. There is no conceptual understanding here. So for fact we know it's the wrong statement, because it is promoted not by RBI. It is promoted by Bombay Stock Exchange with other banks, not RBI. So for factual I know this answer, that the answer is for factual we know that B is the answer. 1 and 2 is correct. But again this is a very either you know or don't know wala question. So either if you know this answer, mark it. If you do not know this answer, I would suggest do not attempt this until unless you are in a very dire situation. You have attempted very, for example, 60% of all questions. Then you are literally in a dire situation. You have to take a risk. But even then, I would suggest try to not mark any question on blind guesses. Intellectual guesses are always there. Calculated risk is always available. It should be attempted, but not blind guesses. Okay. With that in mind, let's move to next. In India, the central bank function as a lender of the last resort. We know this already. Yes, central bank do function as a lender of the last resort. And we know that central bank do function as a lender of the last resort. So let's see what is there. Lending to trade and industry bodies when they are failed to borrow from other sources. Usually, central bank do not lend directly. It lends to banks or it gives to money to governments through way and mean advance. WMA hota hai. It does not lend directly to any industry or something. It do influence the credit flow. It do have mechanism like bonds, security in open market operation, but direct giving money is something they do not do. RBI does not do. So we know for a fact this is a wrong state. Second, providing liquidity to banks to ये हमें पता है that lender of last resort का मतलब ये होता है that banks who are themselves as the lender but the last resort for them is the RBI. We know for fact this is right. Lending to government to finance budgetary deficit. We already know from fiscal deficit chapter that budgetary deficit have been prohibited under FRBM Act. Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act prohibited RBI lending to government for financing budgetary deficit. Other चीज के लिए lend कर सकती है through a mechanism I told you, ways and mean advance. ठीक है? So it means this statement is also wrong. So answer is B. But for your sake, I would suggest this is such a question. You know it, attempt it. There is no large room to play here. ठीक है? But easy था. I believe it was an easy question. At least these two statements were easy. आपको चलो अगर इसमें कंफ्यूजन हो भी जाए फर्स्ट में, यू मे बी कंफ्यूज, बट 2 and 3 आर इजीली गेसेबल स्टेटमेंट इफ यू हैव इवन स्टडीड यूपीएससी बेसिक्स ऑल्सो. तब भी आप गैस कर सकते हैं कि सेकंड इज करेक्ट, थर्ड इज रॉन्ग. सेकंड इज करेक्ट, थर्ड इज रॉन्ग का मतलब ये तो चली गई एंड ओनली दीज टू रिमेन. If I do not know the first statement, I know second and third, then I can guess that second is right, third is wrong. So third is wrong का मतलब these two are wrong. Only A and B remains. Then I have to take a risk on A and B. So this is your calculated risk. You may take it. Next, let us see. Consider the following statement. The governor of RBI is appointed by the central government. We know for a fact it's certain provision in the Constitution of India gives the central government the right to issue directives to the RBI. If you have read economics, even basics, आपको पता होगा RBI is governed by RBI Act made by the Parliament of India. The Constitution of India. देखिए UPSC has played a term. Yes, central government has the right to issue direction to RBI in public interest. Yes, it has the right, but it has the right under RBI Act, not the Constitution of India, has the right to give directive, but under RBI Act, not the Constitution of India. So that they are playing certain provision in this was in current event a lot. So you from current event you could recollect how by central government can give direction. I know this was an issue debated in media channels. I saw that debate, but there you missed a crux whether it is under act of RBI or central government, because media channels are noisy channels. They do not debate constitutional framework. They just blame game खेलते हैं वो लोग. So that's a very pathetic source of news. Anyway, ये नहीं गलत है. The governor of RBI draws his power from RBI Act. Common sense, yes. So the answer becomes is 1 and 3 is C. I think it was a very, very, very easy question. With reference to casual worker employed in India, consider the following statement. We know something about casual work. Okay, casual workers are usually informal worker or contract workers. These are not permanent workers on the roll of a company. Company involved few people are nowadays gig economy kind of thing that we use. So it is becoming a very common phrase, gig economy. इस तरह concept को please remember them. So with reference to casual worker employed in India, consider the following statement. All casual workers are entitled to EPFO. Yes, we know this. चलिए मान लेते हैं for a second आपको नहीं पता. So you do not know this point. ठीक है, fine. Second, all casual workers are entitled to regular working hours and overtime payment. We know one thing for fact, that I just told you, casual workers are not full-time employee of a company on the roll of a company properly. So these people, यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Regular. They are not regular employees, so they cannot have regular working hour and overtime. They may have other mechanism, but regular thing is not available for them. So we know for a fact कि ये तो गलत है. First में I am not sure. Second में I am sure it is wrong because it is talking about regular working hour. If they have regular working hour, then why would we call them casual worker? Wouldn't we call them regular worker of the company? Okay, that we have. Third, the government can by notification specify that an establishment or the industry shall pay wages only through its bank account. Yes, government can. Under labor laws, government can do that. Okay, so we have that. Ultimately, so second I am sure is wrong. Third I am sure is right. So is there any answer? Second is wrong, मतलब ये गया and ये गया and ये गया, बचा क्या? C. बताइए. By just knowing one statement you could predict that the answer is. तो आपको जानना ही नहीं था कि थर्ड और फर्स्ट सही है गलत है. ठीक है, अगले में चलते हैं. Which among the following step is most likely to be taken at the time of economic recession? Economic recession का सिंपल मतलब होता है no demand और less demand. Recession का मतलब होता है demand is very less, people are not buying things, companies are closing down and everything. So basically what we have to do is we have to boost demand. If we put the demand back in the economy, then recession will go away. That's the simple thing. So cut in tax rate accompanied by increase in interest. ठीक है, cut in tax, of course. If I will cut the tax rate, then people will have more money, they will create demand. But I'm not sure about this point. So I will put this point as maybe. Next, increase in expenditure on public goods. That's for sure. If government will spend in the market on public goods, like for example, government will create an infrastructure, a roadways. Of course, it will employ people. It will employ people, give them money. By money, they will buy something. So it appears that this is absolutely right. Next, increase in tax rate. तो ये तो हमें समझ में आ गया. टैक्स बढ़ाओगे तो people will have less money to spend. तो ये तो गलत ही है, exactly गलत. Reducing the expenditure on the public good, ये exactly गलत है. So I have reduced two statements. One, it appears absolutely right, and other appears maybe right. So I will choose the absolute right one. दोनों appears to be right, but यहाँ पे ये थोड़ा confusing है. Increase in interest rate of what? The thing that we previously debated, same things come here. Of what? Increase in interest rate तो ठीक है, but किसका interest rate आप बढ़ा रहे हैं और कौन बढ़ा रहा है? Who is increasing the interest rate? Government. Cut in tax rate मुझे पता है काम गवर्नमेंट करती है, तो आई मे अज्यूम ये काम भी गवर्नमेंट के लिए बोला जा रहा है, बट क्लियरिटी नहीं है. तो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट मे और मे नॉट बी रॉन्ग, आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर और एनी. ठीक है, तो विद दैट नोट आई कैन से बी इज वेरी क्लियर. अगला देख लेते हैं. Consider following statement. Other things remained unchanged. Market demand for a good might increase. Market demand for a good. We know various kind of good, this and that, and let's see what kind of good they are talking about. Price of a substitute good increase. मान लेते हैं you drink tea. and there is coffee as substitute for tea. If coffee price increase, तो obviously बात है, the people will switch back to tea. तो इसका मतलब other things remain unchanged. Market demand for a good might increase. पहले मतलब मैं बोल दिया इसने might increase if, तो पहला तो सही है. If substitute good का price बढ़ेगा तो obviously बात है, if coffee price will increase, the tea will be consumed more. तो I can predict सही है. Price of its complementary increase. Tea में you require tea leaves and also sugar. So if sugar prices will increase, so there are chances that you may substitute to coffee. So price of its complement increase, the thing that complement that commodity increase. So the market demand is less likely to increase. So wrong state. The good is an inferior good. देखिए inferior good का मतलब होता है the good that you consume when you have no other option. For example, you love rice, but the superior quality rice is basmati rice. But you cannot afford basmati rice. That's why you are going toward an inferior good, tuta rice. The inferior good are the goods you consume when you have no other option left. Nobody wants to eat inferior food. Obviously, common sense. So the good is an inferior good, and the income of the consumer increase. Common sense. If this good is inferior good, and if my income increase, so why would I take the inferior good? I will switch from inferior to superior good. So simply ये भी गलत है. Its prices fall. If the price of the commodity fall, of course increase कर जाए. So I got the answer. 1 and 4 is the answer. So which is? It was a very easy question, very NCRT वाला question. So I don't think it will be hard. With reference to urban cooperative banks in India, consider the following statement. We know that various kind of cooperative, rural, urban, this and that. So this is about urban cooperative banks. Let's see. They are supervised and regulated by local boards set up by the state government. Let's say maybe. मुझे नहीं पता. मैं zoom कर रहा हूँ. I'm in the paper. मुझे idea नहीं लग रहा. I'm not unable to get whether it is right or wrong. Let's see. आगे देखते. They can issue equity share and preferential share. अब ये भी मुझे नहीं पता. Say for example, ये भी maybe डाल देते. They were brought under the purview of Banking Regulation Act through 1914. ये for a fact मुझे पता है, but still आपकी बात करते maybe. तो ये एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन है, इसमें either you know the answer or don't know the answer. They are not very big room to guess. ऐसा नहीं है कि you can read the equation, you can read the option and can arrive at some kind of conclusion. You need to know at least one statement. Otherwise, it is your stage 3 answer. This question will become stage 3 for few people and maybe stage 2 for few people, or maybe stage A, one stage for few people. That's different thing. So for a fact, I know one thing, that this statement is correct. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब फर्स्ट तो चला ही गया. ठीक है. They are supervised and regulated by local boards set up by the state government. ऐसा नहीं होता. They are regulated by the registrar. Cooperative society का registrar होता है state government में. They regulate their administrative function, and RBI regulates their, not all, but some functions are regulated by, banking functions are regulated by RBI, administrative function regulated by that. So first is wrong. First is wrong, third is correct. Any option? First is wrong का मतलब ये भी गया, ये भी गया, ये भी गया. अरे वाह, सीधा 2 and 3 हो गया. मतलब if you know only this statement 1, it is right or wrong, you could write you could put here. But if you do not know first statement, then it will become very hard for you to predict the answer. चलिए, nonetheless, Indian government bond yield are influenced by which of the following? Bond yield. Bond yield simply means interest you get on the price. Simply yield का मतलब कि यही होता है. Yield, for example, yield माने what you get. If I give you a loan, the yield of that loan is the interest I will receive out of that loan. So what is a bond? Bond is a kind of promise of loan. Bond is a paper that promises or acknowledges a loan given. Yield of a bond will be the interest or the money that I will get out of a bond, simply stating. So yield of a bond, influence, ये अच्छा करा. It's an easy question. Why? It is saying influence. It is not saying positive influence or negative influence. If it says negative, positive, then you could be concerned. So simply लिखा है influence. Would the interest or the money that I am getting out of a bond will increase or decrease? Both side आप देख सकते. So simply आप guess कर लेंगे. Action of United States Federal Reserve बिल्कुल सही है. Because they may be foreigner who have bought a government of India bond. If US central bank does something, of course they may buy more or buy less. we are not concerned, but they will certainly influence. Action of RBI same. If US bank can influence, then of course Indian bank can influence. Inflation and short term interest rate बिल्कुल सही. ये बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है. This question is easy one because they have used the word influenced. It never says positive or negative influence. If it would have said negative influence or positive influence, then you would have to put your brain process. But it simply says influence, तो obviously बात है anything can influence. तो सीधा आंसर आपका डी बन जाए. Easy question. Consider the following: foreign currency convertible bond, okay. Foreign institutional investment with certain condition, okay. Global depository receipt, these are the receipts which are used to buy share, not directly buying share. For example, a foreigner wants to buy your share, so in your country you use GDR. Or also you can issue your native receipts. जैसे India में you can issue IDRs, Indian Depository Receipt. America में you can issue American Depository Receipt, or you can use GDR for ease of understanding. And if you want to attract more capital, it is just like website. जैसे website .com .in वही वाला concept. ठीक है. नॉन रेसिडेंट एक्सटर्नल डिपॉजिट, ठीक है. इसमें पकड़ना क्या है? विच ऑफ द अबव कैन बी, अच्छा एफडीआई, ठीक है. तो विच ऑफ द अबव कैन बी एफडीआई. अब सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है, यहाँ पे कैन बी लिखा है. ये बड़ा ध्यान रखिएगा. wherever there is an extreme word in the question, there are high chances that is wrong. The high chance, extreme word माने wrong, can be माने it is, it may be or may not be, I am not sure. तो can be है यहाँ पे. which of the following can be. तो कैन बी में देखा जाए तो ये हो सकते हैं. दे मे बी बिकॉज फॉरेन करेंसी में बॉन्ड में पैसा आ रहा है, कुड बी अ लॉन्ग टर्म बॉन्ड. फॉरेन इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वेस्टर इज ब्रिंगिंग मनी, कुड बी फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म. ग्लोबल डिपॉजिटरी में आपको बताया शेयर मार्केट वगैरह में इन्वेस्टमेंट कुड बी देयर. नॉन रेसिडेंट एक्सटर्नल डिपॉजिट, वी नो फॉर द फैक्ट दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ सेविंग्स अकाउंट. हमें पता है फॉर अ फैक्ट नॉन रेसिडेंट एक्सटर्नल डिपॉजिट इज अ काइंड ऑफ सेविंग्स अकाउंट इन अ बैंक. काइंड ऑफ सेविंग्स एंड टर्म्स अकाउंट जो होते हैं उनके बेस नाम होते हैं. तो आई नो दिस कुड बी ट्रू एंड दिस मे नॉट बी ट्रू. तो आंसर हमारा ए बन. तो इट्स इजी बिकॉज यहाँ पे कैन बी लिखा है. इफ द कैन बी वर्ड वुड नॉट हैव बीन यूज्ड तो हम फंस जाते. फिर हमें एब्सोल्युटली पता होना चाहिए. अगला देखते हैं. कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट. द इफेक्ट ऑफ डिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ अ करेंसी इज दैट इट नेसेसरली, देखिए स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्ड इस्तेमाल हुआ फिर से, मीन्स एनी स्टेटमेंट दैट इज मे बी इज रॉन्ग. Only absolutely necessary statement will be counted. So statement 1, improve the competitiveness of domestic export. We know for a fact it true होता है. Obviously बात है, you can buy Indian commodity at 20 rupees today. This pen costs 20 rupees and 20 rupees is $1. So you can buy one pen with $1. Tomorrow 40 rupees becomes $1. Then you can buy two pen at the same $1. So obviously बात है, your export will increase. Common sense. तो विद डिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ करेंसी ये तो होता ही होता है. इंक्रीज द फॉरेन वैल्यू ऑफ डोमेस्टिक करेंसी. अब इट्स अ मे बी. पहला नंबर तो फॉरेन वैल्यू कैसे बढ़ेगी डोमेस्टिक करेंसी की, सवाल ही नहीं होता. ठीक है. इंप्रूव द ट्रेड बैलेंस, इट मे बी. ये दोनों स्टेटमेंट मे बी में आएंगे, एब्सोल्युटली नहीं. ट्रेड बैलेंस तो बढ़ेगा. देखिए फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर एक्सपोर्टिंग 200 रुपीज ऑफ कमोडिटी एंड इंपोर्टिंग 100 रुपीज ऑफ कमोडिटी, बट यू डिवैल्यू ऑफ करेंसी, योर एक्सपोर्ट विल इंक्रीज, तो इट विल बिकम 300. Of course trade balance improve करो, but I am not sure because I have no clear idea import पे exact impact क्या पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे word इस्तेमाल हुआ necessarily. If the word would have been the effect of devaluation of a currency maybe के केस में ये सही हो जाती, but because the word here is necessarily, so I cannot say this for sure. This is something I can say for sure. This is something I am not very sure about. So the answer will become थर्ड. ये चला गया, ये चला गया. 1 and 2 is remaining and 1 is the answer. Clear है? Because of the necessarily the answer change. If I remove necessarily and write it here maybe, right here maybe, then all the three could be the answer. Could, not surely. अगला, which one of the following effect of creation of black money in India has been the main cause of worry to government of India? Main reason हम सबको पता है क्या है, लॉस ऑफ रेवेन्यू. ये सीधा क्वेश्चन है, यू कैन गेस इट, नॉट वेरी हार्ड क्वेश्चन. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज लाइकली टू बी वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इन्फ्लेशनरी इन दिस इम्पैक्ट. इन्फ्लेशनरी मतलब समझ रहे हो, सेम डिमांड इज मोर मनी इज पुट इन द मार्केट. तो रिपेमेंट ऑफ पब्लिक डेट, बोरोइंग फ्रॉम पब्लिक टू फाइनेंस अ बजटरी डेफिसिट. ऑब्वियसली बात है, इट विल रिड्यूस मनी इन द मार्केट. तो ये तो गलत हो गया. बोरोइंग फ्रॉम बैंक टू फाइनेंस बजटरी डेफिसिट, क्रिएशन ऑफ न्यू मनी टू फाइनेंस। तो देखिए ये repayment of public debt and creation of new money, borrowing from bank to finance a budget deficit। ठीक है। तो पेमेंट ऑफ पब्लिक डेट एंड क्रिएशन ऑफ, ये तो नहीं होगा, ये दोनों सही हो सकते हैं, बट बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू व्हेन यू हैव मोर देन वन ऑप्शन विच आर करेक्ट देन यू विल सेलेक्ट द करेक्टेस्ट ऑफ द करेक्ट। करेक्टेस्ट ऑफ द करेक्ट ये है, ये भी हो सकता है करेक्ट, लेकिन दिस इज द करेक्टेस्ट ऑफ द करेक्ट, मोस्ट इन्फ्लेशनरी। They are inflationary, but this one is the mostest inflationary of all. Clear? So this is how you tackle economics particularly. So I hope you got something new here, and if by this watching this class you could mark even one question extra, so I would be very. With that note, have a nice attempt for this years, and for future year be ready. Bye bye.